Hey, what's up, everybody? Um, Welcome to an impromptu hangout. I don't know, I did one of these a few weeks ago, and it was fun. We had a lot of people stop by, ask questions, just chat. I figure, we're all going through the same things, right? We're at the tail end of wedding season, a lot of us. Weird year. Maybe it was a crazy year for you. Maybe you've been super busy. Maybe you've been less busy. I know people at all kind of points in that. And I figure I'm just going to be running through some like weird, boring tasks. I got to offload some stuff. I might hit an edit up for a little bit. Probably not a wedding edit. I've got a commercial shoot I need to do a little bit of stuff for. But yeah, I figured why not go live, hang out. I'll just say, right off the bat, if you guys have any questions, put them in the comments. I was able to get to like everything pretty much last time. We had some good conversations. So yeah, and this is casual, guys. Like, you're going to hear my phone going off. Actually, this might be in my pocket. Stuff like that, like, this isn't some big polished production thing, so let's just hang, grab a drink if you want to grab a drink, depending what time it is for you, and we will work away. So, yeah, right off the bat, if anybody's in chat right now, I actually don't have it pulled up, but let me know where you're watching from. We had people like all over the world last time I did this. And again, we'll see what we get as far as people in here. This is impromptu. I literally just put this up on YouTube like 1 minute ago or something, I don't know, like 3 minutes ago, and then went live. So not something that I was necessarily planning on, but always fun to just go live. So right now I'm just I'm offloading some stuff. Did I make that? I had a shoot yesterday. It was a long one. Oh, I did make a folder. Yeah, it was... Actually, the shoot itself was only an hour, but I had to drive about 4 hours each direction for it. But it's with a good company that I've done a lot of work for, and I billed for my time driving too, but yeah, it was a fun project. It was a hunting project, which I really have no idea anything about hunting, so definitely interesting for me. So yeah, just grabbing all the clips from that shoot, and I might end up working on it while I'm organizing here, guys. I'm not gonna show my screen, but if I do get into the edit with it, I'll pull up my screen so you guys can follow along while I edit. And let me know if levels are all right. I have some music going in the background. Hopefully you guys can hear that, but I'm hoping that it's not overtaking my voice or anything like that. And you guys will notice I've got I guess technically my old backdrop. Oh, hey-oh, we got some ads. Thought this was an ad-free one. Let's find a new one. We don't want any ads rolling. Oh no, we're getting ads. There we go. All right. And the live stream's up. Hey, I think my chat might be delayed, so just so everybody knows, if it takes me a little bit That's why. I think I'm asking way too much of my computer right now, actually. Maybe I need to be upgrading to the, the new MacBook Pro with the M1 chip. I've definitely thought about it. I kind of want to. Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, Shane? Washington State. Very cool. I think I have a shoot out in Seattle in January, mid-January, something like that. KK Films, St. Louis. I have been to St. Louis. Zimbabwe. That's a long ways. I have been to, Kenya, Tanzania, Democratic Republic of Congo, and Rwanda. I think I did those 4. That was a long time ago, though. 15 years ago, I think. Italy, what's up, Axel Bonfuentes? Thank you for joining. Adam, how do people edit while listening to other things? I don't really. Like, if I was doing, like, actual editing, I would have this turned off, or I do have this turned off, right? Right now, I'm offloading some stuff. Once I get into the edit, I will probably turn this down. Although I will say, so this company, I do these 30-second spots for them. They use the same song every time. So what I actually did is I pulled up my last edit for them because I know the exact beats that I need to cut on that they like and all this stuff. So I actually don't totally need any audio cues for the most part. I've also done like enough videos for them. I know this song by heart basically at this point. So, but I hear you for sure. I'm gonna turn this down just a little bit. It's a little loud for me. Oh no, wait, you got a fever. COVID isolation and a fever. New Zealand, what's up, Sam? Dang, Moses. You guys are all over the place. I love it. All right, that first card just finished up. What's everybody? Sorry, I'm trying to multitask here. Can't do it. What's everybody's wedding season's been like? I know like a lot of people were crazy. Mine was actually down this year. I mean, it was similar. It was like slightly better than last year, I guess is what I would say. But mine was down. And then next year, it's like, who knows? You know what I mean? Like, I think on one hand, like, I could see, like, right now I've got, like, I don't know, 9 or 10 booked, and I try not to really do more than 15. I think next year I would maybe bump that up a little bit just because it's been a couple weird years. But, man, I might just, like, is booking season over? I don't know. What do you guys think? Or how many do you have for next year? What do you have booked for next year? Let me know in the comments. Or, like, what do you have booked? What's normal for you? And what do you hope to have, I guess? That's going to be different. Sony A7S II. It's now my backup cam. I want to get the A7S III, though. Or the A7 IV. I've got the A7 III. I love that. I'm using that as my main cam now. I can't see this thing. But I want to upgrade. But I missed the A7S III when it was actually, like in stock. I don't know about you guys, but I take forever to like actually make a decision and be like, I'm going to buy this. So, as such, missed out on a few cameras. And now I can't decide which one I want, kind of, Know what I mean? All right, got that one going. Let me drag this back over and see if... I don't know why this doesn't update so far. Cool, Chase. How are you liking it in Washington? Wait. Oh, wait. You weren't the one who originally said. So we got 2 people in Washington. Rwanda, what's up? I was just saying I've been there. Sasu. Sam's got 10 to 15, or had 10 to 15. Yeah, okay, that's the thing, though. They're all crammed, right? Like, I did. Can you guys hear my dog snoring? She's on my lap. You can't see her. I did like, I don't know, about 10 probably this year or so. But yeah, I mean, they were like in a 3.5 month period for the most part. I had like one or two like outliers. But I'm just like, it's tough because I'm looking back at the season, right? And I'm like, oh, I didn't do as many weddings as I normally do. And yet I feel like more exhausted, you know? Anybody with me on that? Like, I just feel like I was just like slammed for like months, you know? And really it was kind of that. It was a few months of just like all the weddings. But yeah. Chase, what kind of events do you do, if not weddings? Like recitals, dance stuff? Wedding season, it will change based on where you are. So like Sam is in, I think he said it was in New Zealand. Or I guess that could be a she. He or she, don't know. I'm in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I shoot maybe half my weddings or so are in Minnesota. The rest are out of state. I shoot a lot in California. I kind of shoot all over and occasionally outside of the U.S. as well. So, you know, I have some flexibility there. Like wedding season doesn't, like there's not really weddings in the winter in Minnesota. There are. They exist. I shoot one every now and then, but there's definitely less weddings. And there's definitely a lot of people too who are, you know, maybe a little more budget conscious in the winter. They're getting a deal because people are just not booked as much. Venues aren't booked as much, etc. And I'm like priced on the higher end of videographers in the area. So I don't do a whole lot of winter stuff, but I do sometimes shoot winter weddings like out in California or something like that, where it's actually like, it's nice because it's going to be 70 degrees or something. But yeah, I mean, generally for me, at least wedding season in a normal year is probably, you know, mid to late May to mid-October, something like that. But again, this year it was really crammed into, because what is that? That's like that's June, July, August, September, October. That's like 5 months or so. And there's probably a couple outliers usually, but this year it felt like it was just in like 2.5, 3 months. Sam's exhausted. Sam knows what's up. I gotta get my drone footage. Anybody else? What are you guys all like doing like right now? You like editing? You just hanging? You researching some new gear? Could be anything. Let me know. Also, as you guys contemplate what you're doing currently, and I get my drone out, and I hopefully don't drop it, I am curious. Oh, I dropped something. There we go. Shoot, what was I gonna say? I don't know. Did I mention I've got my old backdrop set up? Well, I don't have, it's just like a big black backdrop in a lot of my videos. But I was like, it's been a while since I've had a little depth here. I'm using a different lens. It's got the 55, 1.8 or something like that. I kind of like this. I like this look. I like the black backdrop as well. Like, no hate there. It works really well for us. Like myself, Jason, and Jared, right? We're in different locations. They're out on the East Coast. I'm here. And so that lets us have some like uniformity in our videos. But there's something about having like those. I like those lights behind me. I actually want to get some of those like light sticks. I can add a little color back there. I actually took a bunch of stuff off those shelves, so I should put it back. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of like that depth. Mix it up. Although probably, I was sick of that after a little while, so I'm sure in some amount of time I'll just be like, oh, I hate all the depth. I want black, and switch back. But let me know if you like it, or if you don't. I don't really care either way. I care. I care about your opinion. Speaking of your guys' opinion, actually, maybe you can help us out with this. We'd love to know, like, so we got, 25, 30 people on right now, something like that. It doesn't update for me very regularly because Well, I don't know why. It usually does, but it's not today. But I want to know what you guys like want to see on this channel, right? Like, I don't know. I feel like we're trying to gear things towards what you guys want, and sometimes we're not always sure what that is. And I know we have people all over the place as far as skill levels and stuff like that, but we actually put a poll up in the Facebook group. So if you're not in our Facebook group, definitely join. We've got like 16, 17,000 people in that group. Awesome resource. But yeah, I figured we'd ask you guys here too. Like, throw it in comments what you want. Like, we just did a camera basics video about aperture. Didn't get too many views. So I don't know. Like, maybe you guys don't really want the basics, which is totally fine. I know posing couples was a big one in the poll. People really liked that idea. But yeah, we're trying to crank out stuff that you guys want, and of course stuff that we like and feel comfortable speaking to, and you know, that is one of the nice things with myself, Jay, and Jared. Like, I think between us we have like a little over 40 years of experience shooting weddings, which is pretty crazy, but also pretty cool. But yeah, so let us know. All right, I'm going to drag this back, see if any comments are updated, because stuff doesn't update. All right, watching from India. So yeah, Chase doing church and conferences. Okay, yeah. Makes sense. Do you do like live streaming stuff for that? Or is it like all recording or what? Silver Horse, I'm in Final Cut. I'll probably bring up my editor in a minute here. What drone am I using? So I use the Mavic 2 Pro. Let's see if I can get the focus on it. Yeah, there we go. So Mavic 2 Pro. I really like this drone. I have had almost every drone that DJI has made. I mean, I've skipped like a couple, you know, like the Air 2 or, you know, something like that. I find that this is the perfect in between of like great image quality, you know, the ability to shoot, because I think you can shoot like 10-bit, or it's like, what is it, D-Log or something. I actually don't shoot that anymore, but you know, it gives you some professional options, but that compact size is just everything. Like, especially if you're traveling for shoots, like if I have to pack up in my car, it's not a big deal. I have a Phantom as well. I actually need to sell that Phantom. And I love the Phantom. It's a great image, right? But if I have to fly on a plane or like travel for a shoot, it's such a pain. It's its own piece of gear, and I hate that. So I love this thing. The Mavic 3. Now here's my thoughts. I have not researched it extensively, so I think there are things that like I'm not fully aware of, right? It's expensive, man. I think that now is a great time to hop in, people that are offloading the Mavic 2 Pro, and buy one of those. If you have no drone experience, like, yeah, get the Air or get a Mavic 2 Pro if you can find one used for a little bit or something. Like, learn on something. Definitely don't jump into the Mavic 3 right off the bat, probably. But yeah, I mean, I just think like it's a great piece of gear, but how much better is it? I don't know. I don't know that it's a lot more. And if you want to be able to shoot ProRes, it's like a lot more. All awesome things. Like, I basically see, okay, here's a good way that I would explain it. I think the Mavic 2 Pro, let me walk it back. If a Phantom 4 Pro or Advanced or whatever it was sufficient for the type of work I was doing, which is a lot of weddings and some other stuff too, but a lot of weddings where a Phantom is totally sufficient image-wise, then the Mavic 2 Pro is the logical next step, because it's a very similar image in a smaller body, you know, some advantages, some disadvantages, whatever, but it's awesome. If the type of work I was doing required something like the Inspire or a custom rig that maybe even flew a DSLR, then the Mavic 3 might be the, like, when you're weighing size versus what you're doing. Obviously, the Inspire is great. Obviously, flying a DSLR is not going to be replaced by the Mavic 3. But it's kind of like, if that size is really important to you, maybe, like, that's kind of, like, I think it's kind of at that level almost, where it's just, like, it's overkill for a lot, like, weddings. I think it's just kind of overkill. People will use it, have awesome experiences, get great images, no doubt. But it's a lot of money, and that money might be better spent elsewhere. That's my thoughts. Thanks, Sam. Glad you've loved the tutorials. Have I heard of Adobe Photoshop Lightroom? Yes, I have. That's like the main photo editor that everybody uses. So, for photo. Although you can do video in Photoshop, I think, some extent. I don't really know. I don't use Photoshop. I've used Lightroom somewhat extensively, though. Yeah, Ruben, so awesome. Congrats on getting your first DSLR. Editing, you got to figure it out. Lots of tutorials. If you're doing video, there's lots of tutorials on this channel. If you're doing photo, lots of tutorials out there on YouTube. And honestly, you can watch a million tutorials. What you really got to do is play around and figure out. Play with all the sliders, all the settings, all the presets. Play with your camera. Like, you're not going to take a bad photo and make it a good photo 90% of the time. You got to take a good photo to start with, too. So make sure you know that stuff. Hey, Sam, yeah, have you seen the more, like, we've done, I mean, since I came onto the channel, we've done 4 behind the scenes, I think. Like, we've probably done 1 a quarter at least. So, yeah, definitely check that out. The most recent one we did was on a live stream out on, like, an island. That was a whole deal. Luckily, it wasn't my wedding. It was Jay's wedding. So, but, yeah, check those out. And we have more in the works as far as behind the scenes. And we love doing those. But they are a lot of work. And more than that, like, it's got to be the right couple. It's got to be the right kind of everything. Like, there's got to be a reason to shoot behind the scenes at that wedding. And then there's also got to be, like, the couple's cool with it. And the day kind of allows, like, the space allows for having another person there. Like, I mean, that's a lot of, like, between the photographer and probably their second shooter and me and my second shooter and somebody shooting behind the scenes and maybe somebody has an assistant. That's like 5 or 6 people. So just has to be the right day for it and whatnot. But we love doing those. We do them more in the works. We know that those are like the, bread and butter of this channel that people love. So we are trying to do as many of those as we can, but they take time. But yeah, we'll continue to do that and kind of lining up next year, trying to figure out when would be the good, the good weddings to do that. So, what's up, Bushido Photo? XT4. Jay and Jared use the XT4, I believe. I do not. I shoot Sony. What's up, Caleb? Yeah, for sure. Like I was saying, we'll totally do that. More behind the scenes. Behind the scenes videos, stuff like that. But if you haven't seen our recent ones, check them out, because we've got I think 3 or 4 that were uploaded in the last 9 months or so. But that's good to know. I love hearing that from you guys, that those are like what you want, right? Because that's what we want to hear. Like, we want to hear what you guys want. So, yeah, I hope that made sense, Chase. I mean, again, like, you're not going to be disappointed with the Mavic 3. No way. It's just like, do you need anything else, right? Like, where else could that money go? And that doesn't even need to be necessarily gear. That could be like, hey, I need to put money in advertising. I need to sign up for a course. I need to, spend a couple $100 and hire a mentor for 3 hours and just bombard them with questions. Stuff like that. So. Sorry, I'm just trying to get through all the comments, and then this is what always happens. I don't actually get to do any editing, right? But how many extra shooters do I bring to a wedding? So almost all of my weddings are 2 shooters total. So myself and one other person. I am toying around with the idea of making a second shooter an add-on, and I would just bring an assistant then. I always want another person. Always, always, always. I think that if you are solo shooting, not every wedding, some weddings work out great and there's no issues, whatever, but you are leaving the risk, and I'll get shit for this, I'm sure, because I know there's people that disagree, like, just wholeheartedly with me. I think there is a certain amount of risk you are taking by being a solo shooter. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's the wrong business model, but for what I deliver to my clients and the experience that I want to give them, I just think there's too much risk in showing up with just myself. So I would at least want an assistant to tear stuff down or whatever. But the thing is, like, I move my feet a lot. Like, I do swap lenses too, but I'm moving a lot more. But even with my 2 camera setup, like, I like having a second shooter. I like having somebody who just sits on a 70-200 all day and gets that beautiful compressed bokeh type shots, just kind of pops around and gives me all this filler stuff, and alternate angles of what I'm shooting. So I really like it. I charge enough that I can budget for that. So, like, I know there's plenty of reasons not to do it, but, and what do I offer my client? Either a 3.5 minute highlight film, 3 to 3.5 minutes, or around 7 minutes. And then, the ceremony and speeches. And that just varies depending on what collection that they choose. 27 seconds left to edit. Put me on pause, man. Finish it up. 27 seconds of work, or 27 seconds in a timeline. That could be hours. In which case, don't put me on pause. Come hang. Chill. Relax. Yeah, rain sucks with weddings. I mean, the nice thing to know is that like, most people have a backup plan. If it's supposed to rain, if there's a chance of rain, they probably have a backup plan. If you're in an area that it rains a lot, they probably have planned for that. You can get things that attach to your, like, cold shoe mount and have an umbrella over them. That works. You can hold an umbrella over them. That works. Your camera might be waterproof. That works. You can throw a plastic bag over it and cut a little hole out to poke the lens through. That works. There's plenty of options. Or there's, the professional version of that. That's actually like a raincoat for your camera. That works too. So, there's lots of options. But I always fall back on, and, like, I've been caught in weather, but for the most part, if there's a chance of rain, people probably have a backup plan. One of my most recent weddings that I delivered, they did have a backup plan. It looked like it was going to be clear. They went with it. 10 minutes in, it started pouring. It happens. A lot of my gear got wet. It all survived, to my knowledge, to this point. But for the most part, I don't get caught in that situation too often. What cheap audio recorder do I recommend? So, Francisco, clarify that for me. Are you looking for something that you can plug into, like, the DJ's sound system or something and record, like, a master track there? Or are you looking for something with a mic, like a little lapel mic that you could attach on to, a groom or somebody you're interviewing or something like that? I've got recommendations for both, but you can actually check I think the link is in the description. I can't see. I don't know where it is, but I think there's a link in the description that says, like, the best gear that we love for weddings or something. And even in the bottom, we list out a bunch of gear. So audio recorders are in there, and they're also in that top link that has the little red sirens next to it, so that I attract your eye there and you click on it and we get a little kickback from an affiliate link or something like that. So, but yeah, if you put in the comments exactly what you need, I can tell you the best thing, but you can also just, or my opinion of the best thing, but you can also just click those links. Yeah, I mean, Fitzgerald films, like, the nice thing with an assistant is that, like, the assistant isn't shooting, and they're paid as if they're not shooting. If they're shooting, they're running a camera, then they're a shooter. They're a second shooter, a third shooter if you have a second shooter. Not to say, like, they can't, like, touch a camera or anything like that if they want to learn. But, you know, with an assistant, I'm not as concerned about teaching them my style, I guess. I'm concerned with them, like, setting up tripods, breaking down cameras, grabbing me water if I need it, stuff like that. But, yeah, I'm with you. Like, I do 15-ish weddings a year. I shoot, you know, like, I don't have a team. And I contemplate moving that direction sometimes, but I don't know. I like the boutique style. I like connecting with all my clients. Nothing wrong with either one, but yeah. And yeah, I mean, that's all. I'm just reading your whole comment here. What do you recommend compensation for second shooter in training? I've had second shooters try to show them. So yeah, I mean, I think, like, you gotta, like, not blur that line between, like, if you're second shooting, then you trust them. And if they're learning, then they're an assistant. I mean, if they're learning, I'd pay them $15-20 an hour. I don't know. Like, if you're relying on anything from them, I think that's like an assistant rate. Second shooter should be $50 an hour. I know we're in the same market. We're both in Minneapolis, or I know you're in Minnesota. I think you're in Minneapolis. But yeah, second shooter is $50 an hour is pretty common. If you want a really good one, it might be more. If you want somebody a second shoot who, like, you're going to use some of their footage, they're not quite an assistant, they're not quite like a solid second shooter, they still need some polish, then maybe somewhere in between, $30, I don't know. But it's hard to teach people, especially in a creative field, because I think a lot of people, like, it's hard to take criticism on something that's art, because art is subjective, and especially when it's your art and your creativity. I think you're drawn to what you're drawn to, and you approach things the way you approach them, and you like to shoot things the way that you like to shoot them. So, you know, not that you can't teach people, but I don't know. I think you just got to be careful with who you're hiring as a second. Like, I only have a few people that I'll work with and that I trust because of the reasons that you said. Like, I don't want to pay $500, $600, $700 to somebody and I'm not going to use any of their footage. Like, could I put together a film without their footage? Yes. Do I need a second shooter at all points in the day? No. But if I am going to pay somebody a lot of money and be a second shooter, then I want them getting good shots that I can use and make my film even better. How do I manage color grading in same-day edit with multi-angles? And what is the best duration for same-day edits? I don't do same-day edits. I don't want to. I sometimes think about, like, oh, it'd be so cool to do a little 30-second thing and, like, just put it on an iPad and show them for, like, the client experience, like a gift to them, and, like, they'll tell all their friends, whatever. But I don't find that I generally have time to do that in a wedding day. I don't offer same-day edits where they play them at their reception. I did one once, and I was just like, nope, never again. Don't want to. Basically, I would charge so much for it so that it wouldn't make my day any more chaotic, that it would just, somebody's probably not going to pay for it. So a same-day edit, as far as duration, though, I can't speak entirely to that, but I can say I would shoot for under, 60 seconds or under, because that way you can then immediately also put it across, like, every social media platform. Generally the lowest limit there is 60 seconds. So, and, like, I just don't think you need more than that. I think you put together something killer, and then you have, like, you have, like, advertising use out of it too. Yeah, I mean, training a second shooter is tough. Jay and Jared would be really good to talk to about that, because they have a team. I think they have, like, 15-ish people or so on their team. So they know better than I do for sure. But sorry, I'm just ejecting this card. Oh wait, I already ejected it. Perfect. So yeah, they would be better as far as like training somebody. But since I'm not training, what I do is I find other people whose work I like and bring them on. And we have an awesome community here in Minneapolis. I know you're here. Got a bunch of dust on this. Yeah, so I don't know. I reach out to those people. I know. Hey, what's up, TN Real? Sorry. We've like put this across different platforms. I never know who sees it, but Jay and Jared, their building where their studio was got sold or something like that, so they've had to transition, and it has just been a process. Like the build out for their new space has just taken longer than anticipated. Maybe I'll hop in and do one. We're trying to kind of line up though, like the kickoff of live film reviews again, with lining it up with like the kickoff of the next season of the podcast, just because they've kind of gone hand in hand and been like our set schedule thing. But I feel like we're a few weeks behind where we said we wanted to be as far as starting those up again. So yeah, I want to get that going as well. Maybe. Ooh. Actually, you guys should let me know too, like what days work for you. We're doing Thursday evenings, like 8 o'clock Central, I think. But Thursday evenings only, well, they'll work for me in a couple weeks, but for the next couple weeks, they still don't work for me. So we might switch it up, or maybe I'll do an impromptu one. Yeah, I don't know. But they are coming back, I promise. What do I think about the A7 IV for weddings? Is the crop 60 a deal breaker? How often I use 60, 120, and 4K? So, excuse me. I shoot almost everything in either 4K 30 or 1080 24. I shoot almost nothing in 60, and I shoot absolutely nothing in 120. I don't like slow-mo. Sorry. I don't dislike slow-mo. There are times to use it. There are certain shots to use it. But I think slow-mo is very, if you aren't careful, it is a crutch for being a good filmmaker. And it's just not my style in addition to that. So I don't really, so I mean, for me, like, look, if I had 4K 60 as an option, which I don't on my cameras, I would probably use it for some more stuff like detail shots. Basically, I never want to be able to tell that what I'm shooting is in slow motion. So I don't use it for romantics or any shots with people in it or anything like that. If I had it on my camera, I would use 4K 60 for details, venue, stuff like that. I'd be still in 4K 30. And all that said, even if you are somebody who loves using 4K 60, if it's, or 60 or whatever, and it's your style, I don't think that 4K 60 cropped is a deal breaker. Look, I get it. We'd love to have it full frame, full sensor readout, whatever. But it's just not that big of a deal. Like, your client is not going to be like, oh, I really liked his work, but I could tell that shot was a APS-C sensor, and I just don't like the way that happened. Like, that's not going to happen at all. And so the only limits would be if you don't have the right lenses to deal with that. Like if you want something really wide and that crop, you only have a 50 and that crop brings you to a 75 or 80 or whatever it brings you to, right? And you can't get wide enough. Like beyond anything like that, like I don't even know what you would call that kind of thing. It's not a big deal at all. Yeah, Fitzgerald Films. You can always reach out on our website. We have Mentorship. You can fill out a form. I don't even remember the pricing offhand. And you could probably request Jay or Jared or myself. But yeah, if you're looking at like team building, I think that would be definitely more of a Jay and Jared thing than me. Hey, what's up, buddy? Recently bought the X-T4, kind of regret it solely due to autofocus. Anybody using Fujifilm? There was somebody else in here using X-T4. I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, look, every camera brand has its pros and cons. Autofocus is not a pro for the X-T4, I think I would say. Same with like the GH5. Autofocus is great in the more recent Sony cameras, like the A7S III is crazy. The Canon cameras. But like the X-T4 is also a great camera in its own ways. It's very inexpensive, produces a great image. So, and also it could depend what lens you have on there too. My native Sony lenses are great on my Sony, on the A7 III at least. Less great on the A7S II. But if I throw an adapted lens, or even sometimes like a Sigma that's an E mount and a Sony mount, it's not quite as good. So there's a lot of variables there. But the nice thing with camera gear is like X-T4, okay, you bought it for whatever. Like if you really wanted to switch, you could probably sell it. Maybe you lose a couple $100. Bummer, but not the end of the world. 4 hours and 40 minutes. Is that the duration of the film, Little Tear? Little Tear? I don't know. I'm going to call you Little Tear because I shed a little tear when I read that you're delivering a nearly 5-hour film. Here's the thing, guys. You're the expert, right? Make what you want to make. I don't want to make a 5-hour film. That sounds awful. I don't make anything like my highlight films. I mean, my ceremony film is just whatever the ceremony is, but it's just like documentary style. My highlight film, the longest thing I make is 7.5 minutes. Oof. Can't imagine doing that. Do I edit from home? How do I separate work from home life? I do edit from home. I work much better if I go out to a coffee shop. Yeah, that's a tough one. I'm not good at it. I know people. So here, I think there's 2 ways to do it. Granted, I don't have kids or anything like that, and that makes it infinitely more difficult, I'm sure. I know people who work set hours. They work 9 to 5. Or maybe they work, maybe they edit 11 to 4 and do emails outside of that or whatever. I don't work well like that. That's not the type of person I am. I am like, hey, when I'm in the mood to edit, I am cruising. But when I'm not in the mood to edit, I don't. It's just not good, I think, for me, for like my mental health. I hate forcing myself to be creative. And I also feel like it's a disservice to my clients sometimes, where I want to edit because I'm like, I know it's a job, but I want to edit because I want to edit and I'm in the mood to be creative and to let that, flow through me and whatever. I don't want to edit because I have to hit a deadline. And sometimes that's life, right? But yeah, all that to say, I'm not great at a work-life balance. I mean, I think I am, but not in like a set way that's like a regiment that I could follow. But I mean, people are different. Some people love routine, some people don't, and I don't for the most part. And I like having flexibility, and I like editing. I might wake up and start a project. Like if I ever get off your guys' questions and get to this project I'm working on, and I might just work on this for the next 5 hours and finish it, or I might like start editing at 11:30 at night and work until 4 a.m. Like if I have the like motivation to do it, I want to tap into that motivation then and there. But I also know that doesn't work for a lot of people too. So, best way to color grade weddings. So I love using a LUT as a base. I love Henry Martin's LUTs. We may or may not be working on some LUTs. Hard to say. Wow, is it White and Reverie, Forestry Films? I think they both have LUTs. They have some awesome stuff. There's a bunch of good LUTs out there. A LUT is not going to be a slap it on and you're done type of thing. But yeah, I mean, I think look, color grading is not like my strong suit. I like the colors that I get, but I don't, I don't go like that in depth. I don't shoot log footage because I just don't enjoy color grading, and I don't feel like it makes I don't feel like that amount of leeway makes my films that much better or something. So, and no wrong or right way to do it, of course. But yeah, so for me, I really like starting with a LUT. I mean, obviously I've dialed in my look and I, kind of do exactly what I know what I'm doing with the LUT that I'm getting, but you could grab usually they're sold in packs, might give you 5 or 10 or something like that, or 3 or something. You can play around with those. And yeah, that's really good. Also, Film Convert is another great tool that has some built-in LUTs as well. I guess they're not called LUTs. I think they're called looks because it's within their program, but they are emulating film stocks. So you can get some really cool looks with them, and they also have, hands down, the absolute best grain. So they scan in actual film stock to get real grain overlays. I use that. I'm using those on all my films this year so far. So those are some places to start. Do I custom make my transitions, or do you have any packs I use and adapt? I edit in Final Cut. Weddings, I'm not really doing anything transition-wise pretty much other than hard cuts for the most part, occasionally a dissolve or a fade to, black or something like that. So there's not really anything that crazy that calls for a pack, in my opinion. I mean, maybe for a teaser film, some teasers, I'm doing a little more upbeat hype stuff. And for those, I guess I've probably used a couple other things that, I don't know, you can always find them you can make them yourself. You can find them sometimes for free online. There are packs you can buy too, but it really just depends what you need. Yeah, so yeah, Fitzgerald Films saying that they make a schedule, him and his wife, and having kids, yeah, that makes a big difference. So I think, yeah, if I had a lot of things that I was I have kids and they have a set schedule, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. I would need to dial in my time, be more specific. But I like what I am able to do and do it my way and whatever for now. So, hey Bobby, listening to when you're saying that if you're not feeling it, you don't edit. I was going to ask because I can't look at the edit all day. Sometimes I got to do something else or go for a walk. Yeah, that's the other thing too. I would say if I'm in an edit and then all of a sudden I'm just hit that wall or something, I'm like, dude, I can't touch this anymore. That motivation, not only can it be hey, I wake up and I'm I'm feeling motivated. I'm going to crush that edit that I've been working on. I'm going to finish that up. Or I wake up and I'm I don't want to touch, work today or something. I just want to go work out. I want to hang out with a friend. Because that's the other thing, right? We're giving up our weekends a lot of the times for shoots. You gotta worry about you too, and you gotta make time for not work, and you gotta worry about your mental health and your well-being and your family, and because you can't be miserable doing this job. It just won't work. So yeah, if I lose motivation mid-edit, that's a real thing too. And yeah, I'll go for a walk, something like that, or just take a break, watch a show, eat some food, something like that, and maybe I'll come back to it, and maybe that's the end of the workday for me. So I think there's no right or wrong. I think hold yourself to what you got to hold yourself to, but don't punish yourself for hit your deadlines, 100%. I've never missed a deadline. Ever, I don't think. But don't punish yourself for not feeling like editing one day. I've been on Final Cut my whole career, 15 years. It wasn't always Final Cut X or 10 or whatever. I think I started on 6 or 7 or something like that. And then I switched to Final Cut Pro X or 10 or whatever. I got it right when it came out, and I hated it. I hated the magnetic timeline. If you guys watch some of my editing tutorials, I still don't often use the magnetic timeline. I know. So it probably took me about a year to switch over, something like that. after it came out. Do I archive your footage or delete it after a set time frame? So when I offload on my editing drive and a backup drive, and then I also offload and back it up on the cloud on Google Drive. So, I don't say that I save it for a certain amount of time, but practically it's infinity. I don't want to be held to that. But, I still have footage from, 12, 13, 14, 15 years ago. So yeah, I don't know. I do always like to kind of make people aware after a year. I'm like, hey, I might be cleaning out hard drive space, and use that as kind of a prompt for raw footage sales. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Either way. But yeah, so that's what I do. Like, the thing is, like, hard drive space is so cheap. Online storage is so cheap. Just keep it. You never know. How long should a wedding video be? My wedding videos are between 3 to 7 minutes. But that's two. They could either get a 3.5 minute film or about 7-minute film. But it should be whatever you want to make. I do not want to make anything longer than 7 minutes for a highlight film. I have zero interest in that. I used to do closer to 10 minutes a long time ago. But I just felt like I was filling time, and I don't want to do that. So, oh, good job. Good job on finishing while I distracted you. What do I think about Blackmagic cameras? They're awesome. Excuse me. Should have grabbed water. Look, they're great cameras. They produce an amazing image. The files take up a lot of space, usually, if you're utilizing what it can do fully. There are downsides to using them. I had a Blackmagic, the 6K, or maybe it was the 4K, the Pocket. I can't remember which one, actually. So I shot for Henry Martins. Shout out Henry. Awesome guy. Love that guy. On his gear using one of his Blackmagic cameras. And I really, really liked it, but I was just shooting. I wasn't, doing the whole thing, the edit or anything like that. Then I built my own rig, Blackmagic rig. And I just said, after playing around with it a little bit more, it wasn't conducive to how I wanted to shoot. I can't exactly say in what way, but I ended up getting rid of it. So it's just like, hey, know the limitations of that setup. There are definite pros to using it, but there are definite limitations to using it too. And make sure you know both, because it's important. Like, battery life sucks. There's no internal stabilization. It's big, right? So there's lots of things that are a downside, but lots of things that are an upside too. So know the limitations. You can make an amazing video with a Blackmagic. You can make an amazing video with a Sony A6500. You can make an amazing video with a red whatever they're on. You know what I mean? Like, gear matters, but only to a certain extent. Yeah, that timeline sucks. It always deletes things that I want, and then I don't realize it until way down the road. Do I trash away my raw footage after I deliver to the client? No, I already just went over that. I keep it backed up. Do I mean 7 minute for a full wedding video? Yes. The main thing that I deliver is a 7 minute or a 3.5 minute recap highlight film of the day. Cinematic, whatever recap you want to call it. You guys, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Nee? Federa? Look on this channel. Or you can look at my work. My company is Redmond, Redmond, Redmond Digital Media. You can find me on YouTube. Look at my work there. Instagram, look at my work there. And some of it is on this channel because we used to do film breakdowns. So if you look for a film breakdown on this channel, you might see, you'll find one of my films or a handful of my films as well. I do give them a ceremony. So I guess that's a 30-minute edit or whatever, right? Whatever the ceremony is. But, that's just doc style. It's just a multicam cutting between angles. It's not a highlight film or anything like that. So thanks, Victor. Glad you like them. Glad they're helping. I'm putting this back over here as I begin my edit that I'm now getting to. See, I was distracting you guys, but you guys are distracting me. So it goes both ways. Oh, my computer is going to struggle so hard. I'm asking so much of it right now. But that's okay. That's what we're here for. Oh boy. I'm going to turn off my audio scrubbing. Wait, is it? Oh, no, it's not off. Okay. All right. Let's find that drone shot. They always like their drone shots. I had 2 drone shots. Interesting. I want to make some awesome faces while I edit, probably. Almost guaranteed. That's way long. Let's see. Any gear you guys are thinking about picking up? Or asking for from Santa for Christmas? Yes, no, maybe? Let me know in comments. I don't know if I'm going to... trying to think. I mean, I think I mentioned I do want to upgrade my camera, or add in probably an A7S III or A7 IV, and then kind of bump. I always upgrade one camera and then I bumped the rest down. So like I would get rid of my oldest camera or whatever. Here, I'll share my. You guys can see me edit. Hey. So I'm just, this is another project I did for them, and now I'm just going in there and like replacing clips because I have this music going for you guys, and I don't want you to have to listen to that music like over and over and over. So I'm gonna just pop all these in, and then I'll probably tweak them later when I'm not live streaming, just to like tweak the length of some of the shots and mix it up a little bit. But what am I editing on, Mac or Windows? I'm on a Mac, on a laptop, an old laptop, honestly. This thing's from like 2016? I'm going to look now. Is this bad if I show this? Probably not. 2016. There's all my computer stats for you. Yeah, and this thing, I don't know. I mean, it works. I like it. So, can we see what you're seeing? Yep. So yeah, I just started the actual edit, buddy. I was like offloading footage and answering all your questions. Yeah. So that's probably what I'll do. I just popped the drone shot in there because I started with a drone shot on this other clip for them and for like the past commercial thing I did for them. And so I might start with this, but right now I'm going to probably just lay out all my favorites, and I'm going to kind of go in order. So this is a 30-second commercial for a company that the company is called Duluth Pack, if you guys are familiar with them. They're like an outdoor brand. They do a lot of like canoe packs, canvas packs, gun cases, stuff like that. So we did a pheasant hunting shoot yesterday up in northern Minnesota. Lucked out with some good weather, some awesome sun flare, that kind of thing. So I'm going to kind of go through. I ran 2 cameras, so I'm going to kind of just go through and probably just lay out like, hey, here's the like prep, like them getting ready shots I like. Here's the like them like getting ready to go into the field shots I like. Here's the shots of them in the field that I like. So no like specific order, but generally like what would you call that? Like time specific, or I don't know, whatever. Like following the timeline of the day. And what I always do is I'll put in and out points, so I and O, and then I put Q to put it above the magnetic timeline, because I'll rearrange stuff, and yeah. Canon M50, yes, love it. I haven't actually used one, the Mark II. I know somebody who was using it as like a C cam or something. I think they liked it. So, ever used the Panasonic G9? No, I've never used Panasonic. I just, look, they're a great company. They make good cameras. If I were just starting out, or just getting into a camera system, totally would consider them. GH5, GH5S, that kind of thing. G9, I don't really know which one that is, actually, to be totally honest with you. But I'm not gonna switch for them. There's nothing about them that is like, oh, if I'm already established in a brand, that I'm like, oh, I really want to switch to Panasonic. So yeah, you can definitely get some good things with the oh, you guys can see me watching. Oops, sorry. When I put it on my other screen here, I think I'm just like depleting. I have like so many things plugged in, and then it's like not updating. So sorry, you guys could see that's behind the scenes of YouTube Live. So anyway, I will go through. I'm gonna also go through by camera because I. You guys in? You guys. Can I not have sound? All right, I'm gonna turn off the sound because this is gonna be super annoying for you guys. All right. I should have just checked this. What is this? 19, 20, 23. Okay. I'm going to turn off audio because I don't need that. Have these kids. That was staging. Let's see. That was staging. And then the kid doing it. Can you guys hear my computer audio still? Let me know. I had this crazy sun flare. I was using my hand over this shot. It was like up in, let's see, I can do it with the mouse. Oh, wait. It's like up here. I was like, I don't know where my 70-200, what do you even call it? Hood went. Which is a shame. But I love that shot. It's good. 7200. Then yeah, they're just like. And I'm like I'm like so far away from them. yelling at them. Trying to pull focus. Look at that sun flare. It's insane, right? Now I'm covering it. Probably everything's out of focus though, it looks like. Oh, you can see my hand there. Right? Oh. Right there. Oh. I might actually use that though. So you saw that was actually the bird launching. That was kind of cool. And I like that flares going in and out. So it's like right in the middle, right in front of this guy. The bird goes. And they weren't shooting these birds because I was like, I don't really want you guys having loaded guns. And I'm like all around, so. I'm going to check on comments in just a minute again, guys. Because I know it's... It's not updating for me again, guys. Sorry. Just the comments. So I'll pull them over to this main screen. Ah, come on. And then I'll respond in just a second. So this one I might make the cut. I like having the shot of the dog, but I need to make sure that it's gonna be this was shot 4K 30. I'm dropping it at 24 timelines, so that gives me a little bit of slow motion, 80%, but you can't really tell that I slow it down. And I'm gonna go ahead and just see because I don't like the movement, and so if I stabilize it in here, I don't know, maybe it'll look a little bit better. Also, shooting with not wedding related at all, but this was hunting or whatever. So that orange hunt safety stuff. Oh my gosh, man. So reflective. Crazy. All right, bringing this back over to see some comments. My directing was just... The thing is with this, I don't know anything about hunting, so, I can't really, sorry, I'm going to go back to me for a second. So, yeah, I don't know, I hunted, once with my dad pheasant hunting when I was, 6 or something, right? So, I have no idea what goes into it. So, I talked through it a bunch of times with them. It's basically just them doing their thing, except, I'm making them take it very slow, essentially, because I'm moving cameras around and stuff. So it wasn't that much directing, to be honest. And the other thing, too, is, it's a group of dudes that all want to go hunting. And I'm very gracious to them for letting me, follow them along. And, I don't know if they were getting paid by this company or whatever. I think there was some kind of personal connection there or something, so maybe not. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't doing too much directing, I guess. It was almost like shooting a wedding, except that it wasn't wedding content at all. And I guess I don't really stop a wedding, so. Josephine. Look, I think that it probably is male dominated, in that there are more males in this profession than females, but there are plenty of females. There are some amazing female filmmakers, some amazing husband-wife or just male-female duos out there. So, yeah, fear not. You are not alone by any means. Maybe in this chat right now, maybe on the channel in general or whatever, but there are a lot of awesome filmmakers. You could check out Fiore Films. She is amazing. You could check out Bottle Brush Films. I think they're married. I think it's a husband-wife duo. I guess I don't know. They might not be married technically, but we've had them on the channel before. Andrew and Grace. So yeah, they're awesome. But yeah, I mean, there's probably more guys in the industry than ladies, but you're helping to change that. So, yep. So I can slow the 30 frames per second footage to 80%. So you nailed it, and that's where I kind of shit on slow motion a little bit earlier, just and that's not my style, but. I don't really. I mean, I guess that's technically slow motion, but the difference between slowing 30p footage to 80% and 60p to 40% is major. Like, I slowing 30p footage to me just makes it look a little like dreamy, maybe. I don't know the word to use, but it doesn't look like it's like slow motion to me. So. Yeah, if you shoot in 60p or 60 frames per second and you're in a 24, then you can slow it to 40%. So, and that gets pretty darn slow, pretty slow. So, oh yeah, sorry, I didn't read Josephine's comment. Yeah, so it's just math. So, 80% of 30. So basically, it depends what you're shooting at, which is 24 frames per second, 30, 60, maybe 120, maybe something different, but generally that's what you'll be in. And then the timeline setting, or what you're exporting as, which could be any of those as well. But if you shoot in a higher frame rate than your timeline, you are able to slow it down, and the amount is just a math equation. So if you're editing in, I guess for the sake of numbers, let's say you're editing in a 30, in a 30 frame per second timeline, and you shot at 60, well, 30 is 50% of 60, so you could slow that footage down to 50%. Similarly, if you're editing in a 24 frame timeline and you shot at 30 frames per second, 24 is 80% of 30, so you can slow it to 80%. 24 is 40% of 60, so you could slow 60p footage to 40%, etc., etc. My dog is still on my lap. I want to get my phone. I'm going to wake her up. Oh, I'm so sorry, Kodak. You guys can barely see her. All right, you can go back down if you want. All right. What do you guys got? You got any more questions? I'm an open book. Happy to, hey, don't lick me. Happy to answer whatever you can think of. My neck is stiff. Do I use the Rode Wireless Go system? No, I do not. Jay and Jared have used it and kind of had mixed reviews. I have never used it. Actually, that's not true. I've been hands-on with it. We used it to film some podcast stuff when we were at WPPI in Vegas. So I've used them. I don't use them at weddings. I think that they are... Basically, the conclusion we came to is that, in a lot of ways, they're great, but they are not reliable. And above everything else at a wedding, I want reliability. I want to know that if I'm counting on it recording internally, that it is going to record internally. And I've heard of many cases of that randomly not happening or stuff like that. So maybe there's been some firmware updates. I haven't really checked back in. I don't really feel like it solves an issue that I have. I love the Tascam DR10L. I haven't had issues with it. And yeah, again, the Rode Wireless Go or the Wireless Go 2 or whichever one just doesn't really there are no issues I'm having that it solves. If I was just getting into it, yeah, maybe. I don't know. But what is the project that I'm working on for? It's for a company called Duluth Pack, commercial 30-second ad spot might go. I don't ever really know. Like some of the videos I do for them go on TV or whatever. Some just social media or their website. And I guess, produce them the same. Because sometimes they'll be like, hey, we want this video. We don't really know what we're doing with it. So I got to make it so that it could go on air. But yeah, I don't know exactly where this one will live. Where do I draw inspiration from? That is a great question. Wow. That's a deep question too. There's a lot to unpack there. I think, there are other wedding filmmakers that inspire me. I love the stuff that Sculpting with Time does. I love the stuff that Henry Martins is doing from the Brothers Martins. And I think photographers too can inspire, like just awesome photographers. And just art in general. I don't think it has to be wedding related. I think those are the big things. I mean, but you can draw inspiration from anything. Like inspiration can also manifest as like motivation, I think, in some ways. Like I'm motivated to be creative, and that could be because I watched a really well done documentary or something that's like just totally not wedding related. Or, I don't know, anything. You can get inspired by whatever. But yeah, I think those are definitely like easy ones for me to draw inspiration from. How many weddings does your company have booked for 2022? Oh, I asked this in the beginning. I was asking everybody, so we could do that now too. I'm sure we have some new people, but yeah, what do you have booked for 2022? I have like 9 or so, something like that, 9, 10. I try to do 15. I would do probably a little bit more this year because I've had 2 slower years with COVID stuff and whatever. I probably wouldn't do more than 20 though. And yeah, I really just don't know. Like I don't know. It was like I was getting lots of inquiries. Now I'm not getting as many, so I'm curious. Like, is booking season, is like the height of booking season kind of over? Or is it kind of be waves? And typically I don't go into a wedding season with. Well, that even saying that, it's hard to say. Like I've had seasons where I go in with 8, 9, something like that, something around where I'm at. I've had seasons where I go in with like 2 booked, and I kind of always end up being the same. But I also imagine that plays a role in that, like, if I have a lot of availability, then I'm probably going to book last minute or get referrals from other videographers who don't have a lot of availability, when they get inquiries in April or something like that. So I don't know. I try not to stress too much about it, and I don't know. Probably figure it out. Oh, so you're kind of going into, you're like in the early stages of your season then, buddy. Mine is the opposite. Mine is like late spring to early mid-fall. So, yeah, I'm going to give you guys like a little, I guess, heads up. I'm probably going to end the streams, coming up here somewhat soon. I didn't grab any water. I'm getting kind of hot. My throat's getting scratchy. I've been talking so much. But yeah, hit me with any last minute questions if you guys have them. Let me know if you have, any last minute questions, any things that you want to see on this channel, videos that topics you'd love to see a video about. And please let me know. Do you like the closer camera and the backdrop with the lights and some of my art and random stuff that's blurred out in the background? Or do you like the just straight black background that I typically have in videos with the wider camera? You can see the desk. Hard to say. I need your opinions. Yeah. I got this nice little mic in frame because I can't figure out exactly where to put it. It's too far away if I put it out of frame, which is not even out of frame there, but it's just going to live right here. This is only for live streams. I have another mic up here, but I don't have it running through an interface, and I just don't want to deal with it. So, I've shot winter weddings. Oh, cool that you were in Minneapolis. Yeah, so that's where I'm based. And yep, I've shot winter weddings. I would say I do one like every other year, maybe, or something. But certain couples love it. A lot of couples don't. They can be beautiful. They can be interesting. They can be very cold. So, yeah, yeah, I don't know. Fourth wedding, December 11th. Awesome. Good luck. I guess you got what, 2 weeks, something like that. Anything you're nervous about or anything like that? Cool. Good to know, Josephine. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah, I kind of like this. It's different for me. I don't know. I actually don't love the colors that's on my screen on OBS, which is my streaming software, but I really like the colors and the look that I'm seeing in the YouTube stream. So I'm hoping that's what you guys. The thing, man, the colors on this monitor, it just looks like red kind of, and on YouTube it looks, or at least my YouTube monitor, it looks like nicely, a little faded, a little desaturated. I like the look. Cool. The XT4 autofocus. Yeah, I mean, look, autofocus can be great, but if it's not good, then it's not usable. If it's bad, it's bad. Your lens makes a difference, like I said, or could be making a difference. But I mean, for a long time, and this is probably actually the first year where I'm using mostly autofocus. But forever, I wasn't using autofocus. I was doing manual focus for pretty much everything for 12 years. So it's very doable. Island pictures. I shot a wedding in Jamaica last year. Or I guess about a year. It was it was summer of 2020. Which was awesome. So. Yeah, buddy, you'll have to submit it when you finish up your edit. And we should be definitely rolling for the reviews at that point. Yeah, cool. Well, thanks everybody for joining. I know this was sporadic. I feel like we got actually a lot. We were up close to 50 people at one point. So I'll make a note that this is maybe a good time. Yeah, trying to think what else. If you guys want to become, you see the people in green, Buddy, Fitzgerald Films was in here. Those are our members, which we appreciate. Thank you guys so much for being members. You can be a member it starts at $5 a month. So super cheap. It helps support this channel, helps support a lot of the free content that we're giving you. I mean, sometimes we get sponsors and stuff like that. We get ad revenue and whatever, but the membership helps. And then you guys get priority in getting films reviewed if you're a member, which we do once we start up again. It will be probably every week again, would be my guess. Yeah, you get some other things. You get a private group and stuff like that. So a little more access to myself, Jay, and Jared. So yeah, if you guys do want to be a member, we'd love to have you. Click the little join button, which is right next to subscribe, which you should already be subscribed. And then you can see the membership tiers. But yeah, $5 a month gets you kind of the main thing, which is priority in getting your films reviewed. And yeah, thanks everybody for hopping in chat and just, hanging out and watching me edit a little bit and hitting me with a bunch of questions. I'll try to do something like this again soon. This was just a random live stream, and I've kind of liked doing that when I'm just going to hop in and do some editing or something. So Silver Horse, I deliver digitally. So there are a variety of options to do that, but I don't deliver anything physical. So it's all through download links and streaming services or whatever. Cool. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you for being a part of the community. Thank you for hopping in the chat, for showing up when you see this pop up on YouTube, or maybe you get an email or whatever. Make sure you're joining the Facebook group if you aren't in there. That's a wealth of knowledge from a bunch of seasoned veterans. And we've got the podcast coming back shortly, live reviews coming back shortly, some more tutorials and stuff like that in the works. And we will see you guys in the next video. See ya!